now, the game's life is looking real rough. That man really has been losing everything. Just back in May, he lost his home over a $7 million debt for SAK stemming back from 2015-2016. It wasn't just his home though. The courts was really trying to take everything. His record label, his royalties. That man is going through it right now. The game been a man of many problems really throughout his whole career. Stemming back to when he first got into the rap game, he was in problems, in feuds. Back in 05, for example, he was getting sued for allegedly hitting a fan while they was on stage. And it wasn't like, oh, they suing him for some pocket change. They was trying to get 22 million out of the game and everybody else that was on stage back in 05. And for some reason, it's like a big thing with the game and getting sued and people just wanting to get some money out of him, because right around this same time, they were trying to hit him with 22 million. A 280 million lawsuit got threw up in his face. A Billboard article from back in 2005 wrote this: the Compton-based rapper The Game has been hit with a $280 million civil lawsuit in addition to assault charges stemming from an incident at Radio 1's station in Washington, D.C. Quasi Jones, the cameraman that was videotaping the Game's in-studio interview, filed a lawsuit. Jones alleges that he and another person were attacked by the Game and his 20-member entourage. The incident was triggered by remarks allegedly made regarding a cell phone earpiece worn by the Game's manager. According to court documents obtained by Billboard's radio monitor, Jones alleges that he was battered, grabbed by the neck so severely that he lost consciousness. The Game would later on make an apology on BET. So the Game in these kind of situations go back a long time, but I'm not here to really go through this man's past. I'm here to talk about what he got going on right now over these recent years. The Game in his career has always been really strange, and in a bad way. He's been self-sabotaging for years and years. I mean, 2013, we would see the Game getting sued once again for $4.5 million by a rapper named 40 Glock. Pretty much, this dude in the Game had some problems, and then footage will come out of the Game really putting beats on him. And this man 40 Glock would take full advantage of getting his ass beat. And what I mean by this is he would turn around and straight sue the Game, claiming PTSD, claiming all these emotional damages. A man named 40 Glock is suing the Game because he got beat up. But anyways, though, he was trying to get a bag out of this nigga. He wanted $500,000 for pain and suffering, $500,000 for emotional distress, $2 million in punitive damages, and he was awarded a settlement of $196,000. But at that time, the Game didn't pay that. There were reported accusations that the Game was purposely avoiding making a payment to Glock, and now the blast states that the pair may be close to putting all of this behind them. According to the outlet, Glock told the court on Friday that he and the Game's lawyers are currently in settlement talks. They have a scheduled court date today, but it's been pushed back to August. And what's crazy about this, right? This would drag on for years and years and really would be unsolved for a little bit. 40 Glock came out, he was trying to get all this bread. He was trying to, he was really trying to get that bag, that $200K out of the Game. But the case would develop, and the situation would keep going on, and it would get sat in front of another judge. And this judge would be like, okay, the Game did beat your ass, but I'm not giving you $200,000. That nigga got 1%, probably not even 1% of what he was asking for. Instead of getting that $200,000, the judge was like, the Game, pay him 3 racks. And that's all he got. And before I keep going on, make sure you go follow me on Instagram at GetLikePrincee. I'm trying to grow my brand over there, and it would be appreciated if you hit that follow button. But then 2014 would come around, and the Game was still deep into this self-destruction arc. I mean, the man was getting investigated for DV at one point, felony DV, for allegedly beating up his fiance. She would file a police report back in May of that year, basically saying they got into an argument. The Game got to tripping, and she went to the courts. And when the Game got backlash and people got to questioning, like, what the hell you got going on? He would basically say, all of this is false accusations. He will quote unquote say, I don't want to have to give fuel to these allegations, but the truth will definitely come out. I'm always looking out for my children's safety, and I've never laid a hand on Tiffany, his fiance. And even though he was saying that he didn't do it and that, that it's a false allegations, this fiance would still get a restraining order granted against the Game. TMZ wrote, his fiance says in her docs that the fight turned so violent, a table broke, injuring both of their kids. She says her 3-year-old daughter yelled for help because her leg was bleeding. And the Game got even more ferocious when his fiance went to help the kids. According to the docs, he told her move the F out the way. He called her a bitch. He was tearing her clothes. It was a lot that she said was going on. But the Game's problems with all these different women would come back to bite him later on. Remember what I said at the start, this nigga basically lost everything he worked for because he was being weird with a woman, because he was on bad timing. And that situation I was talking about from the start comes back into play right here. 2015 to 2016, we would see the game getting another weird case with a woman. She would come out saying that he S-hated her. He was saying this happened while they was working on this reality TV show. And originally, she was suing for $10 million. She said they was drunk, they was high, they was out of it. And throughout the evening of this day, she says the game was allegedly forcing himself on her, forcing himself to touch her. It was a lot of weird shit going on. He kind of lost the case. He kind of lost his side of the argument because back in 2016, he would be forced to pay up that $7.13 million to her. Rainey, the last name of this woman, she was a former contestant on VH1 reality TV show, She's Got Game. And then she filed this lawsuit against the rapper in 2015. The suit accused Game of assaulting her during the filming of the episode. A jury sided with her and ordered the Game to pay a judgment of $7.13 million. Since then, the Game has reportedly tried to avoid her by transferring assets to his manager, Wack 100, in an effort to stop her from getting her coin. And really, from 2016 to right now, this case was just there. It was in the back of the Game's mind. It was something that was always there, something that would come up as time would go on. But it was like so many more layers to this situation, because not only would the Game be the nigga getting sued, he would turn around and sue Viacom, the station that hosted the show where all of these allegations came from. He was saying that not only should they cover the $7 million in damages, but it was basically their fault. There was a whole thing. TMZ wrote this. The rapper is coming after the parent company of VH1, which he says cast Rainey on the show She's Got Game. In docs, he says a doctor working on production cited Rainey's long rap sheet, which includes multiple felony arrests for aggravated battery. And according to the suit, the doctor said, quote unquote, in moments of jealousy, Rainey's normal composure dissolves, leaving her to acting out of control. The Game says the show brought Rainey on the added spark, aka ratings, so it ignored the doctor. This wasn't the only problem he was facing around this time though. His ego was a whole different story. A common thing with rappers, they always got an ego, a big ego. Egos be so inflated and huge, and the Game just so happens to be a part of this problem. He kind of goes through periods where his ego come out, and then sometimes his ego don't come out. But his ego was coming out bad for a long time. And a big example of this was back when he was speaking on Drake. He was saying that, Drake, the only rapper that got more #1 albums than me. During an interview with the LA Leakers on Power 106, Game said Drake is the only rapper who has more chart-topping rap albums than him. The California rhymer added that he's achieved 10 #1 albums so far. He would say, it's only one artist alive that has more #1 albums than me, and that's Drake. And we can run it. You can ask your favorite hip-hop critic. You can go to SoundScanner, do what you got to do, but I got 10 #1 albums. I think Drake got 10, or his last effort was 11, but I mean, that's Drake. Then around this same time, not only would he be, oh yeah, I got 10 #1 albums, who really in this rap game messing with? He would also say something real crazy during one of these rants. He was like, y'all nigga, I'm the best rapper out of Compton. He was like, nobody in Compton can mess with me. He would say, can't nobody in Compton out rap Game. Can't nobody in Compton out rap me. And then, he says this to an interviewer. They like, Compton? Kendrick? What about Kendrick? And he would say something real interesting. He would say, Kendrick, my nigga, Kendrick doing his thing and I love him to death. But I flew past Kendrick when he was on foot. He said, I was in the Range Rover and showed him how to do this. Don't play with the Game's name. Compton. I'm the hardest nigga in Compton, rapping lyricist. Me. Any nigga that say different, I'll body him and everybody he mess with. So the Game came out saying, nigga, I'm better than Kendrick Lamar. And the internet had a field day.
I don't know. He seems relatively serious about it. Now, granted, again, like kind of drunk. He seems pretty serious about it, but also simultaneously, it does come off a little insecure. And like, I don't know. Again, as you guys were saying earlier, I don't know if there's too much of a basis for this. Honestly, like if we're talking about pure technical skill here, I haven't heard a freestyle that's like really blown me away from the Game. And while he does have some solid records, I've reviewed his stuff positively before. Like, I don't think he's got an album that's better than Good Kid, Mad City. I don't think he's got an album that's better than Good Kid, Mad City. The documentary is good. The documentary is most definitely good. And again, like during a certain time, as far as West Coast rap goes, the Game was absolutely dominating. But Kendrick then from there went on to dominate in an even bigger way. a much bigger way, through the 2010s. So, I mean, I think in terms of like raw numbers, popularity, transcending different facets of American culture and popularity, I think Kendrick's spread and influence is much larger than the game's. I mean,
a lot of people lost respect for the game during this whole huge ego era. Niggas was calling him delusional. Better than Kendrick? I ain't about to dig into that. But that wasn't the only time he said he was better than somebody. There was another time where he did another interview and he would get to yapping. He'd be like, bro, I'm a better rapper than Eminem. And if I'm gonna play this clip, and in this clip, when he said that, you see everybody in the room, what the hell going on?
Nah, hey, look, man, Eminem is Eminem, and I like.
Y'all done seen how the 2020 started out for the game. Then there was more lawsuits on his way. 2021, he would get hit with a $500,000 lawsuit over, guess what? Him self-sabotaging. So it's 2017 and he sparks up this idea for a tour. Now, it wasn't just a little regular US tour. This was an Australian tour. It was a 7-city tour and it was supposed to go well. They had most of it sorted out. After parties, all of that. Until the game and his people decided to pull out last minute because the agency they was working with didn't want to give him a $3 million budget or give him $3 million for a documentary they wanted to film along with this tour. So then, game people heard that. They was like, nah. Then the tour negotiations was being delayed and it was weird because the game was asking for all these different kind of fees. According to a report from the Daily Mail, the game has been hit with a 500,000 lawsuits, ordering that he pays that amount in damages stemming from a tour in Australia that never happened in 2017. Apparently, Justice Sarah Darrington ruled that the game and his agent Cash Jones are responsible for the 7-city tour being canceled and had to cough up hundreds of thousands of dollars to Australian tour promoters, a tour squad. The game and Jones have reportedly been ordered to pay $500,000 in damages in addition to $78,000 in interest plus court costs incurred by the tour company. So the game, self-sabotaging. Now he getting deep into that debt pocket. But it will keep going on. Not only would this be going on, but at the same time period is when that lady, $7 million judgment, will come back into the picture. She wanted that money. She wanted that money bad. So she would hire a private investigator. According to documents obtained by SSL, she's pursuing alternative methods to acquire the rest of her $7 million. She was awarded as part of her SA lawsuit against the game. In documents, Rainey informed the courts that she hired a private investigator after trying several times within the past year to serve papers to the game at either his home or usual place of business to no avail. She claims she only came up $250,000 out of the whole $7 million. And this happened in 2022, right? She got this private investigator. She really trying to figure out what he got going on. She trying to get him these papers, all of that. But nothing was working. Until 2024, we would start to hear updates on this case. But there was a lot that went down in 2024 for the game. Now, 2024 will be real interesting for this man because y'all know the whole Drake-Kendrick beef went down last year and the whole pop-out show where Kendrick had basically every Cali artist on stage, all except one, the game. The same man that he was claiming he was way better than Kendrick all them years ago, well, the pop-out show happened and he wasn't there. You got all these different Cali niggas. You had Steve Lacy, Tyler the Creator, Dr. Dre. You really had all of these different people in Cali come together this one night and the game wasn't there. And the internet seen it and they laughed at him because he missed out on one of the biggest moments in hip hop in the past few years. And that was a bad look. And the game was getting so much backlash. Well, not necessarily backlash, but it was such a big conversation that he would get online and he would respond to everything, to missing the show.
And all on these, these blog sites and whatnot, talking about, the West Coast ain't you and you ain't, you ain't this and you ain't that and you siding with this and that. When the y'all heard me say a month thing about who I'm siding with or this and that? I'll be in my own lane chilling, taking care of my kids out the way. That's how I made it this far in this game, man. A lot of y'all, fans and it's kind of easy to sit where y'all sitting at y'all house and try to look engaged from where y'all sitting, but it's a lot of that go on in this industry, man. And y'all can see from what happens to some of some of y'all certain celebrities y'all follow and whatnot, what it's all cracked up to be. Nigga, I took that Cincinnati hat worldwide, put on for Compton, and I put on for the West Coast. And Top Dog know what it is. Kendrick know what it is. YG know what it is. Mustard know what it is. Ty Dolla $ign know what it is. Dr. Dre know what it is. Snoop know what it is. Nigga Hit Boy know what it is. My nigga Dom Kennedy know what it is. All the powers that be on the West Coast. And I hope my RJ, everybody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody on this motherfucker know what motherfucking Chuck Taylor is and what I am and, you know, what I done for the West Coast. Draco the Ruler know what it was when, you know, we chopped. We was in the studio, you know, RIP is so. One thing I hate is when the West Coast that I with lose they like. That ain't cool to me.
But 2024 would also be the year of talks with him and losing this property, losing things. Because remember what I said? It's like once a year, you would see this SA case get brought up. But this time it would get brought up. You would actually see something going on. It would actually be a change in this case. Talks were up about him selling his home, about him really trying to get out of this debt. Basically, the debt was sitting there. Courts got tired of it, so they told the game, we're going to take your home and put that shit on the market. But they gave him a chance. They was like, you can come in here, you can argue to us on why we shouldn't sell your home. And apparently, them talks ain't go too good because this year, we would see exactly that happen. The game will lose his home over this SA case. And for months, this will be building up. At one point, academics and Wack 100 manager will actually get on the phone talking about this situation.
Yo, Wack, I ain't trying to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
But we were going to get to this. I ain't trying to put you on the spot. And if I'm putting you on the spot, I'm giving you all permission, just hang up. Just click.
Spot about what?
They're saying the game is losing his house to Shorty.
I don't know nothing about that. I can call my finance dude.
Okay.
It's been a situation for like 10 years.
Yeah, they started recording it. They're like,
what happens is, I believe the attorney or something over there, he be paying the blogs and shit. He got some type of vendetta against game from the attorney dude. I guess he believes the girl, you know.
Wait, how could they sell it? So from my understanding, the house isn't in the game, aka Jason Taylor's name. I get he owes a debt, but how could they force the sale of a house if it's not in his name? How does that work?
I mean, just because something's not in your name don't mean it's not tied to your name. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh. But that gets messy.
This is one of those situations that game this court. That's the bad part about it. It ain't like it was like a back and forth, and we seen all the facts and
so wait.
leaned on.
Not to cut you off, even though I am, because we saw the Soulja Boy thing, and Soulja Boy lost, and supposedly owes $4 million. Soulja Boy apparently went to court, and he showed up every day. They talked about his demeanor. What happened? So the game never went to court?
No, it was court date in Chicago. So I want to say the game, maybe the day before, day or two before, he had something was going on his dental issues. So he went in, right? So when he went into the dentist, they had to do like a emergency procedure. It was something, whatever it was. So, you know, when you go to do certain procedures, they ask you, do you plan on flying or whatever. He said, yeah, I got to fly to Chicago and the next day. The dentist told him based on whatever he gave him or used, he advised him not to fly, right? So I took that information and forwarded it to the attorney. The attorney still flies up to Chicago. And when he gets up there, he presents the document to the judge. For some reason, bro, the judge wasn't having it. To a point, the judge, during court, called the dentist.
Really?
Thinking maybe it's fake. You should be able to go find this shit in minutes, bro. It's in Chicago, right? Calls the dentist. The dentist tells him, he advised him not to fly because of the altitude, some shit, I don't know, right? Bro, the judge and the dentist end up doing a back and forth. The judge flexing, telling him, well, I'm a judge and I said And Dennis is saying, kid, I trump you. You know what I'm saying? So he did have a procedure done. I forgot what it was. He has his paperwork. This is how the judge was able to call the Dennis.
But it was too far gone. The judges made their mind up. On May 2nd, Judge Mark C. made a final ruling on the ongoing legal matter, with his decision being entered into Central District California Court on Monday, May 5th. The judge ordered the game to put his Calabasas home on the market in order to pay Rainey, who won that $7 million lawsuit against the rapper. The game was arguing that he should get a homestead exemption because the home is being owned by his company, JTT Holdings, and he resides at the residence. However, the judge disagreed. For the foregoing reasons, the court finds that the judgment debtor does not have a qualifying interest in the property that would allow him to claim a homestead exemption. Because the court finds that that does not apply, the court does not reach the question of whether judgment debtor has met his burden to prove that he's continuously resided at the property. So they was trying to get him. They was really tired of him playing with this money. So they was like, you gotta pass up the home. Then not only was they trying to get this home, but they was trying to take album royalties. They was trying to take label. They was trying to take all of these different sources of income away from this man, because yeah, he's selling his home, but they thinking this mansion ain't about to sell for $7 million. I think it's selling for like half of that. I think the mansion was going up for like $4.5 million, or it might have been right around $4 million, somewhere in that range. So he was still gonna owe this lady millions, but that was gonna knock off a good bit. But they wanted the rest of it. This is really a crazy situation. This, on top of all the other opinions the world done built around his name in the past few years, is just a horrible look. And who knows what's coming next for the game, because yeah, they took that house, but y'all know how the government get. Them niggas will take anything. So maybe they pull a 6ix9ine, they start taking his cars, doing all that. I don't know. I really think only time will tell. What do y'all think about the game? How do y'all feel about his name in the media and all these recent controversies he been in? Let me know in the comments.